Hey guys, so today I just got off from work, that's why it's dark. But y'all, I just wanted to come and sit down and talk because lately I've been a lot of thoughts, and I just wanted to sit down and kind of like, I guess, talk about them. Just not really have anything really, but just to sit down and have a chit chat. I'm just a talker sometimes, especially when it comes to God and what I'll be kind of like dealing with at the time. So right now, I just been in this space of kind of just getting back to my purpose, I guess. Like, not saying that I fell off of my purpose, but I did kind of like tone it down a little bit. At the beginning of like last year, I moved up here to Winston Salem, and that was like, I feel like out of my control. And I say that because where I was in my life before I moved up here was completely different from how my life is now. And it's not in a bad way, it's just I'm finding my own now. But basically, let me just give you a little synopsis of everything. So, in my last video talking about God, well, in that video, I told you guys that I was kind of like staying at home with my family. Like, yeah, I was staying at home with my family when I was going through that whole cleansing my spirit thing or whatever. And so while I was staying at home with my family, I had kind of like stopped going to school, kind of, but not really. But I had kind of stopped going to school. Like, I was still going to North Carolina Central, but I had stopped going to that school, and I started going to this community college or whatever. And my plan was that I was going to start taking these like nursing classes, because when I was at Central, I started. I was majoring in, I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes I just be all over the place with my words, and my thought process be like, and it's hard for me to stay on one track. I don't have no ADHD. I don't have no kind of like none of that disorders type stuff. I don't have. I'm not claiming it at all. I just be thinking about a million different things at one time, and my mind be trying to go here and here and here and here and come bring it back all together when I can't sometimes because my mind be going so fast. But anyway, I was at Central taking nursing major. I was in nursing major at Central, and then since I was a nursing major, I was like a sophomore, I believe, and I only needed like a certain amount of credits to get to the point where I could like apply for the upper division in the nursing department at Central. And so when I got to that level, one of my classmates had told me that she had started taking classes at another school and just transferring them back to Central. So I was like, that's a good idea. So I'm gonna try that. So I ended up going to Durham Tech, the community college, and taking like anatomy and physiology and some other courses there to try to get them transferred to Central so I could get to the point where I could apply for the nursing upper division course. But in the midst of me doing all of that, God had another plan, as always, which is so funny because when I was taking them classes at Durham Tech, I was really like trying to pass those classes so that I could get into the nursing department at NCCU. Like, y'all, I was really trying hard, and that was my plan. I kept telling everybody, yeah, I'm taking these classes at this community college so I can transfer them back and get into the nursing department or whatever. Even though I could have took them classes at Central, but sorry, y'all. I got this shirt on, and it's a little tight. But anyway, I had already told y'all that I was kind of like struggling in my personal life, which was also a lot, making my grades drop. So I wasn't in the position to have to like take that class again if I failed it. So I wanted to just take it and focus and pass it the first time I took it. So that's why I was taking it at the community college. So I guess y'all say I was taking the easy way out or trying. But anyway, that was my plan. Get the pass the class, go to Central's nursing upper division course or whatever. But when all that stuff started happening to me, and I had got to that point where I was cleansing my spirit, that's when everything started to change. So I had got to the point where I could really hear from God. Like, I know y'all probably hear this a lot, but like, y'all, I was praying a lot. I was like listening to just like gospel worship music. It wasn't even gospel music. I was just listening to worship, straight up worship music, like stuff that'll take you right into the realm of the spirit, like stuff like that. Like, I can't even think of one of the like Leonard, I forgot his name, but I was listening to stuff that would take you right into the spirit, and it wasn't a joke. Like, I would be listening to that stuff. I'd close my eyes, put my little headphones in, and I'd be there. But so since that was happening to me so often, I kind of started hearing from God like all the time. Like, I was listening to him all the time. Like, he was telling me what to do. He'll give me like nudges on like where to go, when to leave, like who to get to know, who to not give too much time to. Like, the Holy Spirit is real. Like, y'all, like for real, the Holy Spirit is real. And if you really trust him and allow him to guide you and like just help you along your way, he won't fail you, because that's what he's here for. He's here to help you out. So it was kind of weird for me because I didn't understand it a lot. But then when I started like spending more time in the presence of God, it became like normal for me to hear God talking to me or whatever. And so, y'all, when I tell y'all, I was in my room when I was at my mom's house. When I was staying at home, I was in my room sitting on the bed, and it was like I had just got my grades from Durham Tech or whatever, so I had passed, and I was like, oh, this is the time where I'm supposed to like go and apply for the upper division nursing class, nursing at Central. And lo and behold, I get on Central website, y'all, and I'm trying to apply for Central, and I hear a voice say, no, that wasn't it. I applied for Central. That's what happened. I applied for Central, or whatever. And I waited, and I waited, and then, no, I applied to Central, I applied to UNCG, I applied to UNC Charlotte, all of their nursing stuff. Like, I applied to get into their schools and stuff. And I waited and waited, and then, like, I had a thought, like, God, I felt like I had a thought, but really it's God talking to me. But he was like, apply to Winston. So, you know, I heard him, but I didn't want to go to Winston. And you know why I didn't want to go to Winston? I didn't want to go to Winston Salem State because my brother had just graduated from Winston Salem State. Like, just graduated, and he was about to move back home because he was about to stay home for a couple of months until he got his apartment in Atlanta to move there. So that was his plan. So when I heard him say apply to Winston, the first thing came to my mind was, Winston, I know it's not Winston-Salem State. And so I was like, no, like, what? Why? I don't want to go to Winston. So I fought it. I fought it so hard. Like, I applied to all the other schools that I just named and didn't apply to Winston at all. And since I didn't apply to Winston, that wasn't in my plan. So when I finally got the results back or whatever, I didn't get into none of those schools, y'all. And it was crazy because my GPA was like not bad. Like my GPA was, I don't even, it was like a 3 something, but I didn't get in, and I had went and took those classes just to get into those schools, or just to get into that one school. And the one school that I thought that I was gonna get into, that I didn't have no problem because I was already right there at the mark, I didn't even get into. So I was so mad. And when I got them results back, y'all, the first thing I heard was, I didn't tell you to apply to Central. I told you to apply to Winston. Man, when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, like you really want me to go to Winston Salem State? I was like, you really want me to go there? I was like, no. And that's when I started bargaining with God, y'all. And this, I know this sound crazy. It sound like girl, what? Skip this. I'm going to the next video. I'm going to another channel. But no, for real, like, he really told me to apply to Winston-Salem State, and I really didn't want to go because my brother had just graduated from there, one. I didn't know nobody from there, like, or around there, because at the time that I was going up applying there, all of my friends that I had at Central that was from Winston had already graduated and moved away and went somewhere else. Like, they wasn't in Winston. Like, I didn't know nobody in Winston. That's my whole point. I didn't know nobody in Winston. I didn't know Winston. I wasn't from Winston. It was like a whole new area. And I was just like, I'm from Durham. Like, I'm used to Durham. I know areas in Durham. I know the people in Durham. I know the school that I'm going to that's in Durham. Like, I know all of this. I'm going right back and getting back into what I started. That's what I thought anyway. But God had another plan. So when he said that, I was like, dang, now I really got to apply to Winston. So I went and talked to my mama. I still didn't apply, y'all. I still didn't apply. I went and talked to my mom. And I told her, and I was like, I think I got to go to Winston-Salem State. And I forgot what she told me, but I just went ahead and applied. And I went on the website to apply, and I thought it was too late because it was like, school started in August, and I think I applied in like June. So it was like right there at it. And it was crazy. Oh, no. That's what happened. So I applied for Winston like before all of this happened. I had applied to Winston when I was applying for all those other schools or whatever. And Winston was the first one that came back with a yes, like that I had got in. But since I didn't want to go to Winston, I was like, I counted it out, and I didn't even really consider it. I was just still waiting for Central and those other ones. But really, I was just waiting for Central because I really wanted to go back to Central since I had already started there. But then they came back and I didn't get in, and I was just like, dang. So then that's when I heard him say, I didn't tell you to apply to Central. I told you to apply to Winston. And that's when it came back to me that I had got in. And so I was like, dang, I really got to go there now. This is crazy. So I went up there because I was about to go to Winston. And it still hadn't hit me that I was about to go to Winston. I was really like scared, I think. And so when I got up there to make my classes and all of that, everything was so smooth, y'all. Like, when I tell you that I never had an issue at all, like I didn't have no issues when I first got to Winston, and I went to the financial aid, I went to the registrar's office, I went to all these different places, and it was just like a cakewalk. Like, no rebuttal from nobody. Nobody was like, well, you too late, it's the last, like nothing. I made my classes, and I had got a meal plan at the last minute. Then it was time for me to get housing, and y'all know, I'm like, y'all might not know. Well, I'm like old. I'm not old, but I'm older than the people thought I was. So I was like not planning on staying on campus, but my mom got in my head and they was like, you need to save money and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we went to the housing department or whatever. He was talking to the housing director or whatever, whoever was in housing at the time, and he was telling them that I was his sister and that I was about to come there in the fall and I needed housing. And the housing director was trying his best to like get me housing, but it was the last freaking day, y'all. It was the last day for housing, and you had to pay like $250, I believe, to like the deposit for your housing or whatever. And then he gonna say, but if you pay the $250, we not guaranteed to get you a room because it's the last day and all of the dorms are full, and you probably gonna get a freshman dorm. So y'all know, I'm not trying to be in a freshman dorm. I'm not trying to really be in a dorm at all, for real, for real. So I was like, I'm not about to pay $250, and it's my last $250. And y'all not even guaranteeing me a place to stay. So instead, my brother was like, like I said, my brother had just graduated from there, and he had his own place up there, so he knew the area. So he was like, you know what, just come on, like we gotta go find some place. Hopefully, we can find some place. We start driving down the street, and it's like it looked like it's a dead end. Come to find out, y'all, and behind all the bushes and all the trees, it's a apartment complex. And it's the same apartment complex that my freaking family stay in Durham. We walked in there, I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is the same. We stay here now. And to let y'all know, my name was on the apartment that my family stayed in Durham. So I ended up getting a 1-bedroom. And like y'all, God is amazing. Like, he's so good. And it's like I don't even have no words, because that entire process was just too simple. It was too easy, and it was nothing but God, because I didn't do anything. Like, I just followed. That's it. That's all I did. I just obeyed, basically. I just sucked it up and gave in and was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Winston. If that's what you want me to go, that's where I'm gonna go. And I just sucked it up, and I just moved up here. And I was so freaking scared. I was like, dang, I don't know nobody here. And my family home. And y'all, that's all I know is my family. Because that's all I be around all my life. But y'all, he made it so easy for me when I moved up here. It was just, it's like I was meant to come here. And I just didn't understand why. And I was just like, why do you want me to move so far away? Like, you want me to move so far away from where I'm known or where I'm like comfortable with. And I think, well, I don't think, I know that's the reason why he wanted me to move. He wanted to take me out of my comfort zone. He wanted to have me use what I was being taught and what he was building inside of me. He wanted me to move away so that it could cultivate me, so that I could become who I was supposed to become. Because me staying at home and around my family, not saying I wasn't going to become who I was going to be there, but it probably was going to take a little bit longer. But it's something about when he removes you from a place of like comfortability and puts you in an uncomfortable situation that helps you grow. It's like it pushes you to be who it is you need to be without any distractions, without anything really that's around you that could persuade you to do something else. It's just crazy. Like, sometimes you really do have to leave. Like, I really can say that I had an Abraham experience. And for you guys that don't know what I mean by that, just go, it's back in Genesis. I put it up on the screen. Go read that story. But basically, God tested Abraham, and he tested his faith, basically. And I feel like that's what he was doing with me. Like I had got so deep into God. He really wanted me to learn who he was, and I really did learn who God was. And since I had kind of learned who God was, he tested my faith in him. And so he put me in the Abraham experience. He took me completely away from the familiar. Like everything that I was familiar with. Like just like he did Abraham. Abraham was freaking taken away from his family's hometown. He made Abraham move to a whole new freaking city. Just like he did me. And all Abraham had was his wife, and that's it. And I think his brother, or his brother's nephew, or something like that. It's his nephew, his brother's son. I don't know. But that's all he had with him. And when he moved him away, completely away from all of his family. And he tested him. And I think y'all have heard of that story of when he told him that he was going to have a son in his old age. He was like 190 years old or something like that. And his wife was like 90 years old. She was going to have a baby. And he was going to be the promised child and all this stuff. That's the story I'm talking about. Abraham. That's the man I'm talking about. The father of nations, Abraham. And so when he took him away and he told him all of that, he was going to be the father of so many people that they're gonna be like the stars in the sky, the sand of the seas, stuff you cannot count. Basically, you cannot count his descendants, and which you can't, because they're all us, really. But yeah, that's what I had. I had an Abraham experience. Now that I'm thinking about it, and it's kind of crazy because I feel like we all go through different experiences that are in the Bible. Kind of crazy, but we do. Like some people go through, I don't know if you guys heard, but they call it like a Job experience where they are stripped from pretty much everything. Like stripped from everything. Like Job, there was a guy in the Bible named Job. God took his family away from him. Like he killed his sons and daughters. He killed his cattle, which is animals, his freaking took his money. He was like really, really wealthy. He had a bunch of cattle. He was like really wealthy, like y'all. And he had like the best house, like the biggest house. He had like everything you could imagine. If you think about the richest person in the world or the wealthiest person in the world to you, just think about them getting stripped of everything that basically you would think that made them who they are. That's what happened to Job. So when people go through a Job experience, they are talking about being everything taken away from them, basically. Like everything that you can imagine getting taken from them, and them just being left by themselves. That's like a Job experience, and them still praising God and just thanking God and relying on God. Them not cursing God like his wife was trying to make him do, him or his friends making him think that he must have did something wrong. Like it's just little stuff like that that people go through that they don't understand. People in the Bible went through these same experiences, and when you read these stories, you kind of get a little bit strengthened, a little bit of more confident, because you know somebody else went through it. And when you know somebody else went through something that you're going through, it's kind of like easier on your heart, because you know God is really looking out for you. He's really going to, your rain is not going to keep raining. It's going to be a sunshiny day. The freaking sun is definitely going to come out soon, because it's just something about going through something that somebody else is going through, like, or has gone through, and they tell you, and you can see them, and you can see that they made it through it. But that's just one thing, well, two examples of people that are in the Bible that have stories that people go through. But yeah, I can really say that I went through my Abraham experience, and I'm glad that I did, because there's a lot of things in Winston-Salem that I discovered, and a lot of people that I met that I'll never forget, and Jai is one of them. And I really believe he's one reason why I was supposed to come to Winston-Salem. But it's just I really thank God for like putting that in my life. Like, I'm not even putting that in my life, but making me go through that experience, because it really did change my mentality. It changed me, really. It made me grow up. That's what it really did. And a lot of people that know me, they knew that I might have thought I was grown and I was doing what I probably wanted to do, but moving me to Winston-Salem, it really made me grow up and mature, because I'm spoiled. I have to admit it. I am spoiled. I needed to come back to reality, I think. I needed to come back to reality and be able to relate, because I wasn't relatable. I couldn't relate to people my age, and that was really, really bad, because I couldn't talk to like my friends. I couldn't talk to, it's like I would always feel like, or people would always feel like I'm older than I am. Like I'm talking older than my age, and I'm trying to be such this older, wiser person. And it wasn't that. It was just, that's kind of what God does to you. Like when you start reading the Bible and He starts transforming your mind, and He starts like, um, changing the way that you think, because you start thinking like Him and not like the world and not like other people around you, because you are like kind of getting all that junk out, and He's putting in all of the stuff that He wants you to be like, and all of the qualities that He has. That's how you become. And it's kind of hard, because people aren't used to stuff like that, and I think that's the problem. Like people so we are so used to, like, when people are changing for the better, we look at it as being like a bad thing. And it's like, it's not a bad thing at all for somebody bettering themselves. Like, why would you not be for somebody that was always hateful and always like just coming at people in a negative light, and just always trying to find the worst in somebody? Like, all of a sudden changing their life in a way of they're encouraging people, or they're like helping people out, get like meeting the need for somebody, or like just lending out that helping hand, like being selfless, like thinking about somebody else before themselves. Like, why is that such a bad thing? I just never would get that. I never would get that. I guess my rant today is just me trying to get back on track. At some point in your life, you have to sit down and you have to think about the choices you make and the direction of your life and where it's going, and you have to like take responsibility for if you start to see a pattern. And I can honestly say my boyfriend really does help me out with that. Like, and I thank God for that part of him. Like, he really doesn't want to see me fail, and he really just wants to see me succeed and become who God really wants me to be, and he really pushes me for that. And I really love that quality about him. Even though I really fuss and fight with him a lot about certain things, like the choices that I make sometimes, but he really be coming from a good place. And sometimes for him, sometimes it might not sound like I'm listening. You might not feel like I'm listening, but I be listening. I just always have something to say back. And I don't know why, but I think it's because you be telling me the truth. And I don't like the truth sometimes, but the truth hurts. And I mean, I take it. I might not take it well, but I take it good. Like, I take it. And I listen, and I really sit back and I think about it, especially times like this when I have time to just sit and think about my life and what I want to do next. I really sit and think about it, and I talk to God in my head and out loud. And I talk to my boyfriend about situations, and when it comes to it, I talk to my mom and dad about it too, because I like to get other people's opinions that are close to me about my thoughts, just to make sure I'm on the right page and I'm not going too far out, and just things like that. And I appreciate everybody that's in my life and that gives me advice when I need it, because sometimes I really just be needing to talk. And so that's what you guys are here for. Whoever watches this or whoever watches my videos, whoever takes my crazy self and actually likes what I be talking about sometimes. But even if you don't like it, if you just sit here and watch me talk, that's cool too. I would like to talk to y'all sometimes. So if you don't mind, just comment something and we can have a chat. Yeah, so I think this is the end of this. My phone keeps going dead and I keep trying to finish this video. So I think this is gonna be the end. So I'm gonna talk to y'all later. It's the end of this video. Alright. Bye.